In focus now, Vice Admiral Robert Harward, member of George W. Bush's National Security Council. He served as a U.S. Navy SEAL in the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. So glad to have you on the program today. Thank you. Jennifer kind of teed this up, and I want to go back now to that new video of those cheap one-way drones, as they're being called. Iran is using those. Some 2,000 fired already. We learned that from Secretary Hegseth this morning. Talk to me about those drones. I'm curious, Vice Admiral, where are they coming from? Are they making them there, or is someone supplying them for purchase?
Well, as we've seen over decades, the Iranians are very industrious. And so I would not be surprised if they're building them all. And I think this is a real turning point in the war on drones. As we saw in Afghanistan and Iraq, we used drones for ISR. In Ukraine, the Ukrainians started making them kinetic. And now we're seeing mass, swarms. And so that's a real differentiator. And I got to believe we're going after the production facilities to ensure we shut down all these elements of power. And I believe if we're not there already, we may be at the tipping point of really shutting down their ability to project power. And when that occurs, a lot of capacity and focus will go on removing the current regime.
Talk to me about that tipping point. Like, how do you know militarily when you get to that point?
Well, there's some easy indicators when in Qatar, in UAE, in Saudi, when business goes back to normal, where you're seeing civilian flights, people outside a lot. I was in Abu Dhabi today playing golf, and we saw a bunch of planes coming out of commercial airports. So when the number of strikes in the countries dissipate, we're having that success. And then we can shift capacity to going after the regime. Because at the end of the day, while we can completely decimate all this, if you're going to leave a regime in power who quickly goes to reconstitute using China and Russia and their allies, we've just exacerbated the problem. So I think once we get that tipping point, and if we're not there now, I think it's coming very quickly, the focus will go on really getting rid of these guys who have been murderers and part of this regime's killing their own people to ensure a government that's responsible and not repressive of its people.
You gave us such a tip of information there from your own personal experience today. You're going outside in Abu Dhabi, and that is a huge shift. We know they hit the airport. I mean, we know what's been going on there. We know that one of the universities, American universities, NYU's campus there, has been in lockdown with those kids, in place and all of that. And the fact that there has been this kind of shift, that's the kind of thing that we can watch for with those planes taking off now, commercial planes. I really appreciate that. I want to get your thoughts, though, because President Trump said yesterday, upon being asked the question, what would the worst case scenario be? He said, well, that, we do all this in 5 years. It goes right back to what you just said, Vice Admiral. Somebody either like what they already had, the Ayatollah, or worse. Talk that it could be his oldest son taking over. Fox has not independently confirmed that, but your first thoughts on that, even as a possibility?
The Iranian people want to accept that. When we reach that tipping point, and we may use surrogates like the Kurds and others to help provide and support the Iranian people are going to remember who murdered them, who repressed them. They're not going to allow that same regime, the kids of that regime, that same ideology to survive. So you can rest assured that the new government is not going to be one exporting terror, repressing its people. It's going to be ones the people will accept. So I think that's where all this is going in the not too distant future. And I hope we've hit that tipping point now, or will in the next day or two.
Well, look, there's no way to say if that new person, if it turns out to be his oldest son of the Ayatollah Khomeini or someone else within that old regime going forward, would have control of what's left of the military. And we haven't looked at what they have on the ground. And they just killed north of 35,000 of their own people for protesting. That population is not armed. Your quick thought on that, and then I'll move forward.
Well, they may get armed or they may have support. But again, we've, for the last 30 years, we've been expert finding people, fixing people and finishing them. When we can turn the capacity of that away from projecting power now onto the leadership, you're not going to want to be the replacement. You're going to want to be part of the new government. So that's where that tipping point we're going to see in the not too distant future.
Vice Admiral Harward, thank you so very much for being with me. Good to see you today.
Good to be with you.